When you do that, you engage more muscle fibers in your bicep than if you just bring the dumbbells up. Hey guys, Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I've put together a full body fat loss workout for beginners. We're going to be doing this circuit style, and at the end of the workout I'm going to give you my personal tip that I think you guys need to do to accelerate your fat loss, so be sure and stick around. So what exactly does circuit style training method mean? Alright, this is a scoop guys. I have 6 different exercises that I'm going to show you how to do individually. I'm going to give you the correct form and what kind of things to avoid. But circuit style means we go from one exercise to the next with very little rest in between. All right, so when we do that, of course, we elevate our heart rate. All right, we start breathing really hard, we get out of breath, we start burning more calories, and then of course that in turn increases the intensity. Now at the end of each circuit, which means we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exercises with very little rest in between, then, only then can you stop and get a little bit of rest. And when I say little bit, I'm talking about roughly 60 seconds. And then I want you to start over with exercise number 1 again, do all 6 of them in a row with very little rest in between, and you can rest at the end of that circuit. So I want you to do 4 complete circuits, guys. Now, by cramming all these different exercises together with very little rest, what we do is we increase the intensity to a point where we create something called the EPOC effect. And that's called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. All right, and if you haven't heard that term before, just think of it as the afterburn effect. That's a real common way to refer to EPOC. And the theory is that we increase our resting metabolism for long after the workout's over. So this is what happened, guys. Obviously, when we're doing this circuit training, our heart rate jumps up, our metabolism goes up, and while it's up there, we're burning far more calories than when we're just resting, when we're watching TV, when we're working on the computer, okay? But because of the way I've put these exercises together and the way I want you to perform them, that increased metabolic rate will last for hours and hours and hours, long after the workout's over, which means you're going to be burning more calories throughout the day than you otherwise would if you had done a more traditional style workout program. And that's why I designed it for you guys, for beginners who are looking to lose a lot of body fat and build some muscle at the same time, okay? This is a great way to get going, especially for you beginners out there. And when I mean great way, I'm talking about circuit style training. Now, when I go through all these 6 exercises today, one by one, you'll notice that each exercise targets a different muscle group in the body. So we're going to be hitting every single muscle in our body, not necessarily at the same time, but throughout the course of an entire circuit. I promise you, every single muscle is going to get hit. And you're going to feel it too, because you're going to be really out of breath and you're going to be begging for that last exercise so you can take a full minute rest before you start the next circuit. So exercise number 1 is probably the most straightforward exercise. Everybody, I guarantee you, everyone watching right now knows how to do a jumping jack. All right, so guys, I'm going to tell you, not just the form, but I'm going to tell you how many reps to do. So jumping jacks are real straightforward. I want you to do 30 reps of jumping jacks before you move on to the second exercise. So we're just going to be, all right, I'm not going to do 30 for you here, but this is the basic form. Now guys, I want you to do full jumping jacks, and I don't want these little hand things like this, okay? I want the hands going all the way up, touching at the top, and touching your thighs at the bottom, okay? Because jumping jacks are pretty straightforward, they're pretty easy. All right, so we're not doing a lot of bodybuilding or muscle building per se. What jumping jacks do is they warm up your body, get your heart rate going, okay? That's the reason I put these in number 1, all right? So that's the first exercise. After we finish that, we're going to move on to exercise number 2, which is a 2-arm dumbbell curl. All right, so 2-arm dumbbell curls. I want you to start with your hands in a neutral position. So my palms are basically facing inward towards my thighs, all right? Now I want you to curl both dumbbells at the same time, and as you bring them up and curl, I want you to rotate your wrist so that at the top of the movement, my palms are facing straight up. And then we're gonna rotate back down to our sides. Now, you don't have to go that slow. I'm just showing you how to do it. So this is basically the tempo I want you guys to use. So that's 1, 2, 3, all right, all the way to 15. Now this is what I don't want you to do, and this is what I see people doing all the time at the gym. Huge mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, all right? So don't jerk the dumbbells up, all right? They're just using momentum, they're using their back, all right? They're swaying. All right, so just to reiterate the form I want you to use, I'm gonna show you how to do this without dumbbells. So we're gonna be starting with our palms facing inward. I'll be gripping the dumbbells like this. And as I curl, as I flex my biceps, I'm gonna rotate my hands so that my pinkies start to point up, or my palms point up, all right? So I want you to come all the way up, and I want you to control the weight all the way up and down. So no swinging, no jerking, don't drop the dumbbells back to your side, all right? I want you to focus that mind-muscle connection. So we're really working our biceps hard here. So guys, when you come up, when you rotate, see how you're changing the angle with your forearms so that your bicep muscle is engaged? When you do that, you engage more muscle fibers in your bicep than if you just bring the dumbbells up in a straight up and down movement, which would be called a hammer curl. So 15 reps of this, put it down, rest bare minimum of time, and then move on to exercise number 3. All right, exercise number 3, I have you down on the floor. This is called an air bike crunch. Now guys, we're gonna be focusing on our core here, and I want you to do 15 reps on this exercise also, just like those dumbbell curls. But remember, because we're alternating side by side, leg by leg, you need to do 15 on each side, all right? So this is how you do this. I like to put my hands right under my butt here, okay? So under my butt, and I'm just gonna be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like I'm riding a bike, guys, all right? You don't have to do it real fast. You don't have to do it real slow either, all right? Just kind of a nice, comfortable speed here. And then remember, really keep your abs engaged. I want those abs, your core, nice and tight throughout the entire range of motion, and of course 15 on each side. So guys, great for engaging your core here. Another thing is it's gonna get you a little out of breath, but don't rest. I want you to move on to exercise number 4 as fast as you can. Exercise number 4, we're standing back up. This is called a body weight squat. So the reason I put these in here is because squats engage the most amount of muscle fiber in your lower body, and your legs have got the most muscle mass of your entire body. Okay, so this is a really important exercise, guys. And I see people skipping legs all the time, which is a huge mistake, especially when you're our age, because legs, when you do them right and you hit them hard, literally can send signals to our brain to ramp up production of our natural testosterone, okay? So it's a whole nother video. I've shot lots of different videos, so I don't want to get into the details. But guys, when you engage a lot of muscle fibers, it really does tell your body it needs to produce more testosterone to fix those damaged muscle fibers, all right? So here we go, body weight squats, kind of a nice wide stance here. I want your toes pointed slightly outward, okay? And I like to look straight forward, okay? And I go down and I keep my hands in front of me, okay, with bent arms like this. And I go down until my elbows touch my thighs, all right? And I consider that a full range of motion. So, all right, all the way down and up. All right? Don't just fall down, slowly go down and slowly come back up. I want you to just really focus on your quads and your hamstrings and your glutes doing all the weight work here. So don't look forward, okay? I don't want your back to round, okay? Pick a point right in front of you and just stare at that point all the way up and all the way down. Now I want you to do 15 reps of this, guys. Now, one thing I want to mention here is some of you guys are gonna have some bad knees, right? And it may hurt to go that deep. That's fine. Don't go all the way down, all right? So listen to your body, guys. So if it hurts to go all the way down, use the same form, okay? All right, that's where it starts hurting. Stop there, all right? Now, because you're not going full range of motion, you're not going nearly as deep, it means this is a lot easier, right? All right, so to make up for that, okay, I want you to do 20 reps instead of 15, okay? So that's how you can adjust to make it more difficult, because you can't go down nearly as deep. So for you guys that can go all the way down, 15 reps. For you guys that can only do partial reps, 20. Now remember, don't rest after this exercise. I want you to be really out of breath, right? Your heart rate's pumping. We're gonna move on to exercise number 5 with absolutely no rest. All right, guess what? Exercise number 5, I have you back down on the ground. That's one thing I like to do when I design these workout programs for you guys, especially circuit style training. I like to have you getting up and down for these different exercises. So this is called an elbow plank. This is the only exercise that we're not going to be counting out reps, okay? We're just going to hold this one for 15 seconds, all right? So we're just going to get down on our elbows here, feet out. I want your back to be nice and straight. I don't want the butt up in there, and I don't want your butt sagging down. So try to keep it nice and straight and just count to 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, nice and slow to 15. That'll be 15 seconds. This is also really engaging your core, guys. And when I mean core, it's not just your stomachs. You will feel this in your lower back. You're also going to feel this in your glutes. All those muscles are forced to contract to keep you in that nice rigid plank position. So 15 seconds of that, no rest. Move on to the last exercise, number 6. Here we go. All right, last exercise, number 6, got you standing back up again. We're gonna hit our chest or upper body. Now, instead of doing just a regular push-up on the ground, which is really difficult for a lot of guys who are beginning, all right, just starting out, there's a couple of things that make it really difficult for you. First of all, you're carrying a lot of extra body weight, all right? So if you're overweight and you're doing a push-up, man, that's hard, all right? These little skinny guys, it makes it real easy. The other thing is you just haven't been doing them, so your chest, your shoulders, your triceps just aren't in shape. They're not strong yet. So to make it easier, okay, and make it easier for beginners more specifically, I'm gonna have you do an elevated push-up. So pick something, whether it's a chair or a couch or a coffee table, I don't care, but it's elevated. We're gonna put our hands on this and get in our normal push-up position, nice and straight, okay? And you're gonna be just doing push-ups, all right, on an elevated surface instead of the ground, all right? So same exact form, but because our head is higher than our feet, right? Our head is up here and our feet are down here. We've shifted some of our body weight from our arms down to your feet, all right? So you're not having to push as big a percentage of your body weight as you would if you were doing a flat push-up. And then of course, if you do a head decline position where your feet are up on the couch and your arms on the ground, then you've taken the weight from your body and you've shifted it more towards your head and your arms. That's even more difficult than doing just a flat push-up. So do 10 of these guys, and also if you can't do 10 continuous push-ups, that's fine. All right, let's say you can only do 5. Stop, rest 10 or 15 seconds, and then continue. I don't want you to just move on to the next exercise. I want you to get 10 full push-ups, even if you have to stop and rest a couple of times, all right? Do all 10 of them, and then guess what? That was our last exercise in the circuit, and what does that mean? You're rewarded with a 60-second rest. So by now, after doing 6 exercises back to back, all right, you're gonna be out of breath, all right? Your heart rate's gonna be really going, and that's, of course, the point, guys. So what I'm doing is I've created this workout program for you guys, not just to work your muscles, but also to get that cardiovascular system going. And when we combine those two things, that's when that epoch effect kicks in, you know, the afterburn. And that's when you start burning calories long after this workout is done. Now, you will have caught your breath, all right? An hour or 2 from now, you're gonna be sitting over in your computer working, all right? Doesn't matter, your resting metabolic rate will be elevated. And that means you're gonna be burning more calories throughout the day. Now, eventually that tapers off, okay? That doesn't last forever, it just lasts for a few extra hours. But guys, I promise you do this over and over, week after week, month after month, it starts to add up. All those calories are constantly adding up. And remember, 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So you do this over the course of a month, you might burn an extra 5, 6, 7,000 calories, all right, because you're doing circuit style training. And it sure would be nice to lose 2 pounds of fat every month. End of the year, that's 24 pounds of fat. Just doing this really simple, straightforward workout. All right, so 6 exercises means 1 circuit. You rest. I want you to do this entire circuit for a total of 4 times. All right, thanks for sticking around, because guess what? Remember, I promised you my personal secret tip for losing body fat, especially for beginners out there. And that is caloric deficit. All right, so it all revolves around calories. How many calories do we burn on an average day? How many calories do we ingest or eat on an average day? And you guys are going to have to figure out where you are right now, which means you need to figure out how many calories you burn kind of on average on a typical day, all right? And it's not ultra precise. You just need to get kind of a good rough estimate. Then you need to figure out how many calories you eat on a typical day. How many calories do you bring in, all right? So you always have to be working to get the number of calories ingested to be lower than the number of calories you burn. So I know it's a pain in the butt, but tough shit. You got to do this once at least. I'm going to give you a couple of websites to go to. They're free, they're wonderful. So one website is going to help you calculate how many calories you burn on just your typical average day. So you're going to fill in several parameters: your age, your height, your weight, your activity level. You're going to hit the little button on the computer, and it's going to tell you how many calories it thinks you burn on a typical day. All right, that is basically where you're starting from. The other thing that's much more difficult to do is I want you to keep track of every single thing you put in your mouth for 2 days. And pick 2 normal days. Don't pick days that are on the weekends where you're going to a bunch of parties and you drink 10 beers. Just pick a couple of your typical average run-of-the-mill days, all right? And you need to keep track of everything you eat for those days. And there's another app I'm going to show you that you can use on the computer. It's free, where you can enter every single thing you eat and how much of it you eat, and it's going to tell you how many calories you took in. So you just add up all those calories. That is how many you ingest on a typical day. Now you know how many calories you burn on a typical day, and you can compare where you're at, okay? And that's how you figure out how to create a caloric deficit. And then of course the other question is, well, how many fewer calories should you take in every day? Well, I think it's good to shoot for around 500 calories fewer per ingested or taken in every day than you burn. Because 500 fewer a day times 7 days a week, that's 3,500 calories. How many calories are in a pound of fat? 3,500. All right, so that's a great way to shoot for 1 pound of fat loss per week, which is actually a ton. All right, so guys, that's my trick. I appreciate the fact that you stuck around, and that really is critical. Nutrition is absolutely critical to losing body fat. And remember guys, it's not going to happen in a week or two, all right? You got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.